is the We Are Your Morning Crew. I am George Daigle, and yes, you're in the right place to get sizzling subjects and trending topics each and every weekday morning right here on We Are You Radio from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. It's what we do, boo. And today in the studio, I have my very special guest, the one and only Nate Simmons. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you, George?
I'm glad you're here for the madness and to indulge me in the conversation. Now, we were talking off air, and you have not seen the Wendy Williams documentary, but you have experienced Wendy Williams.
Yeah, I can say that I can honestly say I'm not a real big fan of Wendy. She's been successful in her radio shows and in her talk shows, but I am from New York, and I am from that era when she was on a rampage to out and try to destroy everybody at Uptown and anybody who was a celebrity in New York, and they were in the life or closeted or down low. She was out to destroy them. So I'm in my feelings about Wendy.
Well, let's talk about it then. Let's talk about it. Now, I had the opportunity to watch. I am a fan of Wendy Williams for these reasons, because people are like, really? I am radio through and through. You cut me, I bleed radio. I live radio. And seeing someone like Wendy Williams work her way from, doing double shifts in Philly and New York and then DC, and then, having to be a female and then creating her own avenue and then parlaying that into television and then to who she is now, is what every radio person that thinks that they're talented wants, being syndicated and all those things. So she is a hero in my eyes for that.
Well, she is radio, and she's a hardworking sister, and she has accomplished a lot of her goals. So you can't take anything away from her with that. But it's just amazing to me. She was out to destroy, in my opinion, men who had love for other men. And when you see her and like her talk show and how you doing, and I'm like, that's something that one of the children would do, but you seem to have gone to try to destroy some of the children.
Let's talk about that. Because gossip, as we all know, is what people in the industry feed on. That is what media feeds on. And while I am not a proponent, never have been, never will be, a proponent of weaponizing someone's sexuality, I'm totally against that. If you want to be in the closet, that's your thing, that's your bag, who am I? And I stand by that. But at the same time, she would not be at the level of success that she is if people didn't want to hear it, if people weren't feeding into it, if people weren't, oh my God, I got to listen to who she's going to talk about next. If we were a society that didn't thrive on other people's demise and the gossip, she would not be Wendy Williams. So do we say shame on Wendy Williams, or do we say shame on the people who made Wendy Williams who she is?
I guess we can't say shame on anybody. It is what it is. I just think it's not a real good look to get your success on someone else's demise. That's not something that I would go after, or that's not how I roll with my integrity. But she's a successful bomb. She is a queen. She has to be respected for the work that she has achieved. And I respect her for all of that.
Well, now let's talk about the movie, because, again, a fan. I know a lot of the stuff, but seeing the humanization of this person that, has been, lauded as this evil person, or, all the things that people have said about her. In the movie, she did not talk about her baby at all. Kevin was not in the movie at all. The mention that of his birth and that he was there, but he was not depicted in any of the movie. And I get it. She wants to protect him. He's a growing boy, and she doesn't want him to be caught up in that. I get it. It makes sense to me. But what was revealed in that was that as much as she was this hard woman, I'll tell it like it is. In her own personal life, things were falling apart, and having to hold up that I'm Wendy Williams, and then going home to a man that she says in her movie was a cheater, often cheating, and then having to go to a show and pretend and then often forgiving him. This is what a bit of advice from Toni Braxton's mama. God bless that woman. Mm-hmm. She says, if you find out your man is having an affair and you go to him with the evidence of such and you're not going to do anything about it, then why are you talking about it? Mm. That goes to Wendy Williams, who would, find out about all these women and the affairs and just take them back. You're cheating on me. I love you. And that was the situation. But when you watch the documentary, she was like, I loved him. I wanted to be in a relationship with him. I wanted it to work. He was the father of my child. I lost 4 other children before him. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to, the level of success and everything that we had. I wanted to be with him. So it was like, wow. And then talking about toward the end when she found out about the Sharina, the woman who was pregnant with the child, she said, I could always forgive an affair, which she had in the past, but an affair with a woman that you had a child with, that you planned to have this kid with, that you bought a house for, and all of these things, she said that was it for me.
That would be like an ending factor.
It should have been an ending factor a long time ago. But it seems, even watching the documentary, she says she doesn't love him, but the tears that she continued to cry every time she mentioned his name in the documentary, not in the movie, in the documentary, because if you only saw the movie, then you only saw half the story. The documentary was really more revealing. It seems to me that if Kevin somehow mended fences, somehow, I don't know if it could be, that she would be willing to take him back. That's what I heard. That's what I hear. Mm. And she said, because on the inside, I'm soft and pink. People think I'm this bitch, but I'm not. I'm not that woman. One thing she did say, though, in the movie that Kevin never did beat her. She said he was not a beater, but they had a lot of issues with. In the movie, they were talking about when she was talking about Total. Remember when she was saying Total, they was broke and Puff Daddy, wasn't paying any money, which is true. Everybody knows this is true.
Right.
Puff Daddy wasn't, and he still ain't. He still owes a lot of people money, so I ain't scared of you. But apparently Total showed up at one of the stations to whip that ass. Uh-huh. And Kevin ended up showing up just in time. And apparently throughout the movie, it was Kevin. He said, people want hits on you. She had to have heavy security around her. And he's like, I'm the one that's going and, putting these fires out. People, you pissing people off. Mm-hmm. And I'm here for you. So Kevin was also that wall for her. Mm-hmm. But I guess being the wall and being Mr. Williams to some people was, I don't know. I don't know what that was all about. But yeah, it was a really revealing movie. Mm-hmm. Do I think people feel sorry for her because they see the human side of her. Mm-hmm. I think that Wendy Williams did what Rona Barrett did. Mm-hmm. Rona Barrett before her, but because she was a white woman, not dealing with hip hop, and in hip hop, it's you ain't gay in hip hop. Mm-hmm. Allegedly. So she was uncovering something that was underneath. And I think what's also very important and why people were so angry with her, although again, I don't agree with weaponizing people's sexuality. And boy, I've been talking. I think that at the end of it all, the problem that underlied all of that is how hip hop made it impossible for you to truly be yourself. And that, I think, is what really the mask was being pulled off of. Mm-hmm. That was really what people were upset about. Because, in hip hop, it's all masculine, whoop, 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 whoop. And for you to even insinuate that this exists in this society pulls that mask off. And had people been like, okay, yeah, we have gay people that rap, but they from the streets, you know, they from the Bronx, you know, they hood just like everybody else, and they can still rap. If that had just been
the way it is,
right, then
she wouldn't have been
exactly
right.
Exactly. So at the end of it all, she was a villain to some, but a hero to others, because there was that brother who wanted to be out, who wanted to be free from that, but still wanted the chains and the cars and the, you know, and all of that came with the fame of being a hip hopper. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, we look at her as that gossip, you know, that person who tells it like it is, or, you know, told people's business. But at the end of it all, a lot of people benefited from those masks being pulled off.
Well, so, okay. You've seen the movie and the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you think she's going now? What do you think is the path for her now?
It seemed to allude that she at some point knew that the show was going to have to end. Mm-hmm. But she had a lot of people, over 100 people, according to her, in that documentary that were depending on her. And she's a fighter. So
depending on her to continue the show.
Uh-huh. And that's a lot of pressure too. Mm-hmm. She also mentioned that during this whole issue with her and Kevin, that her mother and her father both had strokes, and she couldn't address any of that during this whole hoopla that was going on while she was in rehab, while she was dealing with the divorce, while this woman was pregnant, while she needed to go on the show, while she was dealing with Graves' disease. All of this. All of that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn.
Right.
Yeah, so it was really revealing. Is she a monster? Maybe. Is she just somebody who just capitalized on what was out there? Perhaps.
I think one could say that, you know, that may be, you know, her forte, but you know, the question goes back to what's next for Wendy.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Wendy, what is next? What you finna do, girl? What is you finna do? I would like to know. I am in awe of all that she's accomplished, especially looking at this documentary and everything that she dealt with. I'm like, yo, you that bitch.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, you gotta check it out. If you haven't seen it, take a look at it. It is still on demand on Lifetime. You can watch that and the documentary. If you just watch the movie, you're just gonna get a little bit of it. The documentary is like, oh wow. Okay then. We'll be back.
Good morning.